Morning, everybody. Welcome to today, where we celebrate the Friday after Ash Wednesday. And so, if we look upon today's Holy Gospel, notice how the Pharisees and the scribes continued, and John's disciples came to ask Jesus, "Why do we and the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" And so, to really understand the significance of fasting, we got to really define what fasting is and how it's going to relate to each and every one of us. And as we all may know, fasting is where we continue to abstain from something. It's where we try to give up things for the good of other people. And so, why does fasting continue to matter? Because if we look upon other people who fast, like, for example, Gandhi, he was the person who wanted to fast so that other people can bring peace. And so there are various different reasons as to why people continue to fast. But why do we, as Catholics, continue to fast? Because throughout the season of Lent, one of the things that we strive to prepare for is Jesus' death, as we continue to walk 40 days and 40 nights into this spiritual desert to which all of us here are going through. And the season of Lent gives each and every one of us here a reminder and indication of all the sacrifices that God had done for each and every one of us, and how we ourselves should really reflect upon what it is that God did for each and every one of us. And so, with that being said, when we continue to fast, one of the biggest things that we should strive to take into consideration is not only about what God had done for each and every one of us here, but for what purpose does fasting serve in our day-to-day lives. And we know that when we fast on Ash Wednesday, we don't simply fast because God demanded us to do so, but it is to help us remember those who are less fortunate than each and every one of us. And so we continue to offer up all of our service to those who are in need, so that way each and every one of us here can see ourselves as wanting to continue to express our love towards other people. And so, if we go back and look upon today's Holy Gospel, notice how Jesus had told them that why would they fast if the wedding bridegroom is present with them? And there will be some days where the bridegroom is going to be taken away, and then they will fast. And so, what significance does Jesus want to tell each and every one of us here from this message? Jesus wants to tell each and every one of us that because God is truly present amongst each and every one of us, we should be grateful for the fact that God is really, really there, and that He's the one that continues to provide support for each and every one of us. Because if we don't have the presence of God in our lives, we come to realize that all of us are going to fall apart. And so, when Jesus reminds each and every one of us that we don't need to fast because of the bridegroom, it's an indication for each and every one of us that Jesus is truly the bridegroom, as He is the one that gives us everything we need. And so we are to continue to provide service the way Jesus had provided service for each and every one of us. And so fasting throughout the season of Lent doesn't necessarily need to be abstaining from particular types of food. There are other forms of fasting to which we should strive to continue to take into consideration, especially as we continue to prepare for Jesus' death, which happens on Good Friday. And so each and every one of us here are called to continue to offer up all of our sacrifices to which we've done in our day-to-day lives, so that we can really, really understand what God has planned for each and every one of us as we continue to live forth our journey of faith. And so that is the challenge to which God poses to each and every one of us as we continue to really look upon ourselves and seeing how close of the relationship we are with our Lord Jesus Christ.